December 6th, 2013. From El Cajon, California, this is episode 35 of You Can Bet on That. Hi, everybody. Welcome to You Can Bet on That, a podcast for the recreational gambler. My name is Mark Duvall, and as always, I'm here with Dr. Mike.
Hello.
All right, Mike. We're going to have to, let's talk about this.
All right.
It's
about time.
Listeners may know that I run a football pool.
Right.
Just for friends and family, you know.
Yeah.
It's just a simple pool. Just pick the winners each week. We don't pick against the spread or weight the games or anything. It's a very simple pool. We've got 23 people who play in it. Again, just, you know, people we know and family.
Right.
It's just $5 a week. It's winner take all. And, you know, we've got a tiebreaker on the Monday night game. It's a typical football pool.
Right.
So, you know, with 23 people in the pool and 17 weeks in the football season,
correct.
Obviously there are some people who are not going to win.
Right.
You know, at most you could have 17 individual winners and then 6 people would not win. Right.
But,
and
at the worst, it would be one winner wins all 17 weeks.
Right.
22 people are PO'd.
So usually it's something in the middle. So here we just finished up week 13 of the pool. And you've got a 9-year-old daughter.
Correct.
And she enters the pool. And how many times has she won this year?
She's won 3 times.
3 times out of 13 weeks and 23 people entering the pool. How does she do it?
I don't know. I'm her 53-year-old dad. I have no idea.
Now, are you helping her?
Not at all. Not one bit.
Really?
We don't help her. As a matter of fact, last night she made her picks for this week. And I was eating dinner and she just got online and said to Lynn, "Oh, by the way, I made my picks." And, you know, and she had already submitted it and everything. So I don't even have a clue who she picked this week. But, you know, she makes her own picks.
All right. Well, let me ask you this. I have 2 questions for you. Number 1 is, where does she get the money to enter the pool? And number 2, do you think this is an appropriate thing for a 9-year-old girl to be doing?
Okay, number 1, I gave her the money for the first couple of weeks, but then she won. So she's been using her own money to enter. She's paid me back.
All right.
And she even offered to pay for one of my weeks because I'm so poor at picking. I thought that was funny. But as far as being appropriate for a 9-year-old, of course it's appropriate. I mean, it's football. Yeah. The more interested my daughters are in football and they love baseball too. They play softball, so, you know, but yeah, there's nothing wrong with it.
Because it's football.
It's football.
Yeah.
It's, you know, if they were down at the racetrack trying to like sneak wagers up to a window, I'd be a little worried. But yeah, they're just picking football teams.
All I know is that when a child is exposed to gambling for the first time and they win, which is kind of what happened to me.
They become us.
Speaking of the racetrack, you know, I wasn't 9 years old, but I was probably about 16.
Right.
And my uncle and cousin took me to the track. Oh, we got to check this out. And they bought one of those Bernie Reliable, you know, things before we went in and won some exactas. I'm thinking, hey, this is great.
Right. It's easy money.
I'm hosting a podcast.
Right. Well, you know, in my family, it kind of goes along. You know, my dad. Yeah. My mom likes to go. My brother loves to go. My sister will play blackjack every once in a while. Aunts, uncles, everyone's kind of always been into this.
Yeah.
My wife, who never really has been into gambling per se and isn't really fond of casinos, does know my total rewards number by heart.
Really?
Oh yeah. I called her up just tonight and she says, I said, I need my number. I didn't have it with me. I was going to call the casino host and ask a question, and she rattled it off. And I said, would you have the card right there? And she said, no, I know your number.
I bet you don't even know.
No, I didn't even know what it started with. It's 11 digits long. I mean, after she said it, I said, are you sure? And she said, well, let me go get your card and look. And yeah, sure enough, it was the right number. Yeah. So, you know.
So all in the family.
All in the family.
See, it's funny because now my dad does not gamble.
Right.
Not at all. He's not interested at all.
Yeah.
But his dad, my grandfather,
he was a good gambler.
He loved it. He used to go with us to Las Vegas,
he
right?
Used to go with us.
It skipped a generation there, at least for me.
We had a couple of good trips with your dad. with your grandpa.
Yeah.
I liked, Mark and I are sitting at the Four Queens.
Yeah.
Downtown eating with your grandpa.
Yep.
And we all three got a hot turkey sandwich.
Open face.
Hot, open-faced turkey sandwich.
Yeah.
And your grandpa looked at us and said, boys, we need extra gravy. And you know what? If you take one thing away from this podcast tonight, always get extra gravy on your open-faced turkey sandwiches.
I can't imagine what listeners are thinking about this story, because that's the end of the story.
That's it.
Right? It's like, what did I miss? Was that interesting? You guys were having an open-faced turkey sandwich and Mark's grandfather asked for extra gravy? Yeah. I'll tell you, at the time, though, Mike and I looked at each other like, oh my gosh, he's brilliant.
It's the greatest thing ever. I'm telling you.
Well, see, and I think gambling's going to skip another generation in my line, because my kids,
they're not interested.
Well, they're really not interested, and they had to walk through a casino when they went to my birthday dinner that one time,
right.
And they did not care for it. They didn't like the noise and just the concept and everything.
Their children will be great. That'll be great. Your grandkids.
Yeah, I'll be able to go to Vegas with my grandkids, right?
Right, exactly. That way you'll have somebody to take you when you're like 95.
That's right. Yeah, exactly. Well, we got some good news this week. Our podcast was nominated for a Trippie Award. Now, Chuck Monster and all the gang over at VegasTripping.com, they have been putting on these awards since 2005. Basically, they're called the Trippies, and they celebrate the best and worst of Las Vegas.
Well, were we up for best or worst?
Well, see, that's the great thing about the podcast category. There's only best.
Oh, good.
They don't have a worst for podcast. But for a lot of the other categories related to Las Vegas, best hotel, worst hotel, best food, worst food, that kind of thing.
Right.
And, it's a whole list of different categories. And, this year we got nominated. And boy, we are just thrilled that this happened and honored. And if you want to vote for us, which we would love, you can head over to VegasTripping.com/Trippies 2014. And Trippies, it's spelled TRIPPIES. So go to VegasTripping.com/Trippies 2014. And you don't have to sign up for anything. If you do vote and you're not a member there, you do have to provide an email address just so they know you're not stuffing the ballot box,
right.
So that everything's fair. But go there, and then there are a slew of categories that you can vote on. One of them is Best Podcast, and sure enough, you can bet on that. We're on there this year. So this is very exciting.
Very exciting, yeah.
And thanks to everybody who helped us get nominated, too. It's great.
Yeah, whoever nominated us, thank you.
Yeah. So something happened to me last week when I was playing Pai Gow Poker.
Oh, I'm glad you added that.
Yeah. What?
It just sounded like it was going to be terrible, and then you added Pai Gow. I'm relieved.
No, yeah, it wasn't. No, I didn't get in an accident or anything. Okay. No, I was up at Rincon playing Pai Gow Poker, and I wanted to bank whenever I could. And we've talked about this before. In Pai Gow Poker, you're allowed to be the bank. When it's your turn. Everybody at the table gets a turn to be the bank. And the reason that you want to do it is because the bank has copy advantage over the players. So in other words, if you play ace king in your 2-card hand as the bank, and a player also has ace king, well, your 2-card hand beats his 2-card hand.
Right. It seems like a small thing, to some players. But it is huge.
Well, and
it happens more than you think.
It does happen more you think. And even when I went up there was one time where I was the bank, and sure enough, I would have lost if I had just been a player. And it wasn't a common 2-card hand. I had king 10.
Oh, king 10. King 10. See, it's usually ace king.
Right. Or, king ace, queen or something like that. Yeah. No, I had king 10.
Right.
And, the dealer had king 10 too.
Wow.
And his 5-card hand was higher than mine. So if I hadn't been banking, I would have lost. Right. And as it turned out, it was just a push. Well, anyway, you should always bank when you are heads up with the dealer. In other words, if there are no other players at the table.
Right.
There's no reason not to bank.
No, because you have an advantage and you only have to bet what you bet the last time.
Right. It's the same amount that you bet last time. Now, if there are more players at the table, maybe then you don't want to bank because, well, maybe you don't have a bankroll to cover everybody.
Right, you've got to cover them.
Right. Because you've got to cover everybody's bets. Or maybe you just don't like the idea of playing against other players. Right. That kind of thing.
It creates a tiny bit of animosity.
Yeah. Right. So, I was actually kind of jumping around from table to table. Whenever I'd see an empty table, and people were moving around quite a bit.
They're maybe doing the same thing.
But whenever there's an empty table, I'd go over there so I could be heads up with the dealer, and I could bank every other time.
Right.
You just switch back and forth when it's just you and the dealer. So I got there, and we played out a hand. The dealer was the bank first, and then he said, "Okay, your turn to bank," and move the marker my way. Well, right then, a dealer change took place. Right, a new dealer came in, and the dealer that was there, went on break. And as the dealer that had been dealing to me pointed and said, "Oh, he's banking this time," and the other dealer said, "No, he can't. On a dealer change, the dealer has to bank."
That's crazy.
So I said, "Okay, a rule's a rule, but why do you have that rule?" And the dealer didn't know. And so I called the pit over and asked him, "Okay, why does the dealer have to bank when there's a dealer change?" He said, "Oh yeah, that's the rule. I'm not sure why."
Well, what bothers me is, first of all, that the pit doesn't know, but also the first dealer didn't know that?
Apparently not, because he said, "Oh, this player wants to bank this time."
And was he has somebody you've seen before? Or?
Well, I haven't played much Pai Gow there, so I didn't recognize him. No.
Oh, okay. Well,
no.
Maybe he's new.
Possibly, although I was also told that a lot of dealers aren't able to deal, Pai Gow there. They just don't have a lot of Pai Gow dealers. So I don't know. Yeah. I don't know what the deal was there. But I couldn't get an answer, so I asked our host, Alan, to look into it. I haven't heard back from him yet, but I'm still trying to rack my brain to try to figure out a reason.
There's no reason. It's maybe just one of those things where they set a rule and that's it.
Yeah.
There's no reason for it. Just somebody decided, okay, on a deal or switch, we always deal.
You start from scratch. But there's, that's the kind of thing that drives me.
You're looking for a logical reason.
Right, exactly. Right. And of course, they can make whatever rule they want, but it would be nice if somebody, you're right. They're going to come back and, here's the reason, and it's not going to make any sense, or it's going to be
just
stupid.
It's going to be our rule.
So if anybody knows why that might be a rule, let us know.
Yeah.
I
doubt
us a line.
I don't know. It's one of those things, like it's a house rule. Like we could play poker here at your house.
Yeah. You
could say my house rule is, we limit the betting. We don't go above $10 or something.
Right.
And then another guy might, at his house say, it's unlimited.
Yeah, but even something like that, there's a reason. It's like, we don't go over $10 because we don't want people to lose that much money.
It's a friendly game.
Yeah, something like that. All right. We'll see if Alan finds out.
I hope it comes out there's an actual reason, and it's like to your benefit or something, right? And you'll feel terrible for bringing this up.
How would that even be possible? That's nice to think about.
It's not possible, but it's
all right. Well, maybe Alan will find out something, but honestly, I don't think it's going to be a good reason. All right. Do you want to tell this story? Something you did?
Go ahead. It's a mistake I made.
You want me to tell it?
Yeah, tell it.
All right. This is Mike relayed this to me, so I wasn't there.
I actually confessed.
Yeah, you confessed to it. So correct me, right?
Yeah, went to church, confessed, then called Mark, confessed again.
All right. So Mike was playing video poker, 8-5 jacks or better, which is not that great a machine, but he was using free play, to run through the machine. So he was dealt ace, king, queen, jack, 9 of hearts.
Correct.
Right?
Right.
Ace, king, queen, jack, 9 of hearts.
I should have thrown the 9 away and tried to draw for a royal flush.
But you didn't do that, did you?
No, I kept them all and just got paid on the flush. Okay, to defend myself, and this is a very weak defense, okay? Perry Mason would tear me apart.
Yeah.
But I basically had got all my money out of the free play. Uh-huh. I was trying to turn $700 of free play into $700 real money.
Yeah.
And I was pretty much even. So I thought, I want to be even. And had I not got that flush got me to even. And had I not got that, I would have lost a little bit, maybe.
All right. Let's talk about the numbers real quick. And then I have something to say about this. All right. So he was playing, $1 machine, 5 coins in, right? So on the flush that you just kept, you got $40.
Right.
Now, if you'd gotten rid of the 9 of hearts to try to draw to that royal flush and you hit it, it would have paid $4,000.
Right. Correct.
So it's a difference of about 100 to 1. Right.
It is 100 to 1.
So, and you've got a 1 in 47 chance of hitting that 10 of hearts.
Yeah.
Plus you could even draw just some other heart and still have a flush.
So eight chances?
Right. Cause there's 7 other hearts in the deck too that you could have gotten, right? So basically 8 chances out of 47 to still have a flush and $40 or to improve to 4,000.
Right.
So there's how the numbers are wrong. But here's the thing, Mike. Okay. Yeah. You didn't know the math. It was a bad move. You didn't know. But what gets me is that this is so counter to how you usually gamble.
Oh, it is way.
You usually will make a terrible move to go for the big win.
Right.
And here was an opportunity where it was actually the correct move to go to a big win, and you still didn't do it.
And you know what? I'm going to throw fuel on your fire. I'm usually the one who calls you a wuss, tells you to get your girly panties on whenever you hold back. Yeah. I'm always the one, let's go for it.
Yep.
And in this instance, I put my girly underwear on. They were pink and lacy, and I paraded right up to the machine and hit stand.
All right. Well, way to go. I'd like to apologize to all of our female listeners, too, for the catty talk.
It has nothing to do male or female. It's just my way of ribbing Mark when he wimps on something.
Yeah, well, this time, you were wearing them. There's no question about it. All right. Thank you for confessing. Speaking of mistakes, so on the last episode, we were talking about Oklahoma casinos. And we had said that because of the state law there, the house could not bank table games. That a player at the table actually had to be the bank for table games, and all the rest of the players would play against that banking player. And that the way the house made money was to collect a commission from everybody before each hand. Like 25 cents, 50 cents, something like that, depending on how much they were wagering. And that's how the house made their money. Well, listener Greg sent us a message correcting us. He said that Oklahoma casinos, the table games are not player banked. They are house banked.
Okay.
But they do still collect a commission up front, 25 cent, 50 cent, that kind of thing.
So they're going for the grand.
This is even worse.
Yeah, they're going to take all they can get from you.
Tell me about it. Oh my gosh.
So they're dealing a game that has a house advantage to begin with.
Yep.
And to increase the house advantage, they're going to charge you a fee to play the game.
Yeah. I'm very surprised at this. The casinos must love it.
Yeah.
It really takes a lot of their risk away from table games. And they still have slot machines. Obviously, most of their revenue is still probably coming from slots,
sure.
That kind of thing. But, oh my gosh, this is terrible. And there's so many casinos in Oklahoma, too.
Yeah, what's funny is you think somebody would put that on a ballot and the state would vote on it and get rid of that.
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe somebody's talking about it, but, maybe nobody's talking about it.
If you live in Oklahoma, my advice would be, get that on the ballot and get rid of the commission. That's ridiculous.
Yeah, or boycott the table games. Just play video poker or whatever.
Right.
You can find good pay tables. But oh my gosh. Well, anyway, Greg, thanks for correcting us on that. That's definitely something. And I was trying to research it online. It was hard to find a lot of information. But yeah, that's just terrible.
Yeah, and we, Mark and I will probably say things that aren't right.
Oh yeah,
just because. Sometimes on purpose and sometimes, by mistake. But if we do, let us know.
Yeah, let us know. And sometimes I'll even be editing the show and I'll listen to something we said and it's like, oh my gosh, that's so wrong, but I can't really edit it out without kind of messing it up. So I leave it in and then see if anyone
catches
talks about it. Yeah. Okay, so you are going to be in Vegas here this weekend.
This weekend, leaving tomorrow.
So Mike's going to be
Caesar's Palace.
Caesar's Palace, and really the only full day that you're going to be there is Saturday, December 7th.
Correct, yeah. Friday, December 6th, be there in the evening. Sunday, maybe half a day. But definitely all day Saturday.
All right, so if you want to catch Mike, he's going to be at the craps tables on Saturday, December 7th.
Correct.
And I don't know if you and your wife still don't have Twitter like on your phones or anything, do you?
Well, she may.
All right, give me a call though. I'll tweet on your behalf. Let me know where you are, and I'll tweet to let anybody who might be in Vegas if they want to catch up with you. But it'd be probably the craps tables at Caesar's Palace. And then I am going to be playing in an Omaha 8 tournament at Harrah's Rincon this Monday, December 9th at 5 p.m. It is, I've got the flyer right here. The World Series of Poker circuit events are coming to Harrah's Rincon. They're running December 5th through the 16th. And this is the only limit Omaha 8 tournament that they have. So I'm going to play on that again, Monday, December 9th at 5 p.m. Yeah, some of her friends are going to be playing in it too. I may go up this Sunday to sweat our friend Bill. He was going to play in this 10 a.m. tournament.
Yeah, it starts at 10.
Yep.
Yeah, I was thinking if we leave Vegas and get back to San Diego, I might run up there too.
Yeah, you should and see if he's
Sunday
still there.
morning.
You know, because if he gets eliminated, maybe he'll play the next one, which is at 2. And our friend Sasha, I think she was going to play one of these days too. So,
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Good.
So,
Well.
and even Mary was talking about there's a ladies tournament towards the end here.
Oh, yeah.
On that.
I could
the
probably
last
go
Sunday.
to that too.
Yeah.
they saw how I played video poker.
Yeah. So, anyway, so that's where we're going to be this weekend. If you want to catch up with us, gosh, by the time I post this tomorrow, you'll probably actually be on the road already.
Yeah, probably.
You're driving over there, right?
Driving, yeah. We're driving because my dad's going and got to take his scooter. So, that's another thing. If you happen to be in Vegas and you are at Harrah's or Caesar's Palace, be careful. Be careful. My dad's loose.
He's on the road.
He's on the road.
He might be coming down. He's almost taken me out a few times.
Yeah, well, he's not worried about people. He's worried about gambling. He's worried about getting to a table. The people who are in the way, that's their own. They need to watch out for him.
Yeah, all right.
That's his philosophy.
Fair enough. Now, you're going to be driving. This kind of segues nicely into our next subject here. There is the drive to anybody who lives in Southern California and has driven to Vegas knows that it is a pretty boring drive.
Yeah. Well, the second half of it from San Diego is terribly boring.
Yeah. It's all high desert. And, the desert is nice, but it just doesn't change for a good 2 hours.
Right.
It's,
It's yucca plant after yucca plant.
Yeah. Well, it's yucca, but it's the Joshua trees.
It's Joshua trees. We call them yuccas.
Yeah. But there is a yucca plant.
I know.
They're different plants.
That's the beauty of it.
All right. Anyway, it is a boring drive. There are a few, patches of civilization along the way. The last city before you get to the California-Nevada state line.
I don't know if I'd call it a city.
It's civilization. How about that?
It's a few people who live in the same area.
Yeah. It's a very small town called Baker. It's actually about 50 miles from the California-Nevada state line.
The state line.
The last bit of civilization before you get into Nevada. It's very small. Yeah, it's got some restaurants. There's a Bob's Big Boy. And they refer to themselves as the gateway to Death Valley.
Right.
So,
and they are.
Yeah, that's where you get off if you want to go to Death Valley. So there's not much there, but there is one little piece of Americana there. They are home to the tallest thermometer in the world. Now, the term thermometer, it's pretty loosely defined here. This thing was built in 1991. I thought it was older than that.
I did too. I thought I remember seeing it in the 80s.
I thought so too.
But maybe not.
That's what it said online. Anyway, it was built in 1991.
Maybe it was rebuilt in 91. Maybe
here's what I read. It was built in 91. And the winds actually took it out a couple of times.
Oh, okay.
One time actually, broke in half. Another time it kind of bent a little bit and a bunch of lights got blown out,
Right.
I guess since then they filled it up the center with concrete, so it's a lot more solid now. Anyway, it's 134 feet tall to commemorate the record Death Valley.
Right, which is 134 degrees.
134 degrees. It was like back in the 1910s.
Right. Hottest temperature on the planet at that point.
Was it at that point? Was it? Okay. So it's this big tower, and really all it is a series of lights that kind of indicate the temperature. So, it starts at the bottom, and then there's a little light. There are little lights, and then there's some lights that show 10 degrees, and then some more lights, 20 degrees. And the lights just light up until it gets to the current temperature, 90 degrees or whatever. So
it'd be better if it was filled with mercury. Just
wouldn't that be
big thing of mercury? People just waiting for it to explode and kill everybody.
Oh my gosh, that would be the best. So it's called a thermometer. Anyway, we've noticed that it hasn't been working lately. And as a result, it's kind of an eyesore. When it's working, it's just this big stick in the ground, basically, right? Well, we found out, I didn't find out about this till just recently, but back in September of 2012, the owner turned it off because he said it cost $8,000 a month to light up.
Yeah, it could be.
Yeah. And so he shut it off, and there's actually a gift shop attached to it at the bottom. That's all shuttered. And almost a year ago, he put it up for sale. and he was asking $1.75 million for this big tower. I guess hoping he could sell it to somebody that could advertise on it.
Well, that's all you could do, right?
I mean,
you're not going to make sales to the gift shop at Baker.
Yeah.
To justify $1.75 million.
Well, I did read recently that they're now asking $1.5 million.
No.
So the price has gone down. So
it's a steal now.
I hope somebody does buy it just so it'll get lit up again because, go buy it and it's, biggest, tallest thermometer is just this shell.
Well, I'll tell you what, the nice thing about it is when you see that, you're getting close to Nevada.
It does,
right?
yeah.
You're within 45 minutes or so of Nevada.
Yeah.
That for me, that's what I always thought when I saw that. I could care less what the temperature was. My car tells me what the temperature is.
That's right. My phone tells me, right?
Yeah,
Is my phone a thermometer? I guess.
But the thing about it was something to, and you could see it from a distance. It's okay, there's the thermometer. We're getting close to the state line.
Yeah.
Maybe we should stop at Whiskey Pete's.
My sister just went they're in Las Vegas right now. In fact, you might see her there. But she was going to stop at Whiskey Pete's, but she remembered that there's like a trucker that disappeared from his truck
at Whiskey Pete's.
At Whiskey Pete's, his wallet was in the cab and everything, and he just disappeared.
That is a shady place.
Yeah, so they continued on to Gold Spike in Jean. That's where they stopped.
Yeah, that's much better.
Much better. All right, let's talk about a game that your brother saw when he took your folks to Laughlin recently.
Yeah.
It's a game called High Card Flush. And it's so funny because we decided we were going to talk about this game. And just on the last episode of 500, one of the listeners called in and said that he was playing it. And I thought, wow, that's a coincidence because it's not a very widely played game at this point.
No, I mean, it's not in San Diego County anywhere.
I don't think so. But it's something that might catch on as a table game. It's a casino table game. And it might catch on because it's just so simple.
Right.
It's not poker based. When you hear High Card Flush, you think, it's a
poker game.
But really it's not. Here's how as simple as it is. You're playing against the dealer. It's all players at the table playing against the dealer. You're just trying, and you're given 7 cards. You get 7 cards. The dealer gets 7 cards.
Yeah.
And the idea is to have more suited cards in your hand than the dealer has suited cards.
Doesn't matter what suit. Just I want to have like 3 clubs.
Right.
He might have 2 spades as the most suited
as
he
the
has.
most, right.
Right. Or, a better example would be like I have 4 clubs and he's got 3 spades.
Right.
I win.
Right. Exactly. It's as simple as that. Whoever has more suited cards in their hand wins. Let's talk about the mechanics a little bit about it. First of all, you have to make an ante bet before any cards are dealt. So you put out your ante bet, and then again, you get 7 cards, the dealer gets 7 cards. Okay? You look at your hand. Mm-hmm. If you don't think you have a good hand, you just fold. The dealer takes your ante, game over.
Okay.
Right? If you do want to continue in, you make a raise bet. And the raise bet has to be equal to your ante bet.
Okay, not higher, just equal.
It can be higher. That's the thing. If you have a 2, 3, or 4 card flush as your suited cards, that's what a flush is suited cards. If you have 2, 3, or 4 card flush, your raise bet has to be equal to your ante bet.
I gotcha.
If you have a 5 card flush, you can raise twice as much as your ante bet.
Uh-huh.
So if you had $5 on your ante and you had a 5 card flush, you could put $10 on the raise.
Are your cards dealt up so the dealer knows?
No, they're not dealt up.
So if you make a mistake,
I suppose if you made a mistake, they'd just give you back.
Correct.
Yeah, if you put out too much out there.
Okay,
yeah.
Because you could see people like, I'll bet twice as much.
Sure. That's a good question, Mike. I assume they were dealt down, but maybe not. They could. I think they're dealt down. They must be.
They must be. You would think.
We don't. We've never actually played it, so we're not sure. But I'm pretty sure. Let us know, folks. I'm sure it's dealt flat.
Oh, that's my brother.
And if you have a 6 or 7 card flush, you can bet up to 3 times your ante as your raise.
And it's kind of nice because, if you have a 6 or 7 card flush or even a 5, chances are you're winning.
Exactly.
So you get to bet more when you win.
Yeah, you want to put out as much as you can, right?
Right.
So here's how the house makes money. Here are the additional rules that actually, give them the edge. A dealer qualifying hand has to be at least a 3 card flush, 9 high.
Oh.
Okay. So if the dealer doesn't have a 3-card flush anywhere, he's just got 2-card flushes, he doesn't qualify. Or if he's got a 3-card flush that is lower than 9 high, he also doesn't qualify.
Irregardless if it's a straight flush, like if he had 2, 3, 4 spades?
Straight flushes do not count in this game.
Good. So,
right?
So it just has to be a 9 or higher.
And that's a good point. We forgot about this. If you and the dealer have the same number of suited cards, like, say you have 3 diamonds and he's got 3 spades, then you look at the rank of your highest card in that flush and compare.
Ace being high.
Ace being high. And whichever the two of you has the higher one wins. And if it's both the same, you go to the second highest card. And if those are both the same, you go to the third highest card. If you have exactly the same, then it's just a tie, just a push.
Okay.
Right. So I forgot that's a very important rule. Anyway, back to dealer qualification. So he has to qualify with a 3-card flush, 9 high at least. And if he has a 4-card flush or higher, obviously he qualifies. Okay.
Right.
If he doesn't qualify and you haven't already folded, you win your ante and the raise is a push.
Okay.
So,
you're going to get something.
You're going to get something. But like you said, if you've got like a 5-card flush, it's like, woo, good, I can put out my raise. The dealer doesn't qualify. All you win is your ante. All you win is your ante.
This reminds me of
Caribbean Stud. Yep. Mm-hmm. Yep.
And that's kind of our theory why Caribbean Stud went out of favor. People got tired of getting good hands and not getting paid.
Right. And so if he does qualify and you beat him, then you just get paid even money on your ante and your raise. Okay. And, your raise might be 3 times your ante, depending on what you had. Right. Even money. If he beats you, you lose. Right. That's the game.
Yeah.
It's as simple as that. Yeah. I think that's why it might catch on, is because it's simple. People don't need to know how to play poker. Right. To play it, right? It's you just look at the suits.
It's got to be able to see.
Yep.
Well, the thing about it is, though, because of the name, I wonder how many people will actually stop. How people are, though.
Right, because it looks like a poker.
It looks like a poker. Oh, I don't know how to play poker that well, and they'll just move on. Yeah. But anyone could play this game.
Yeah. You could, you could teach somebody so
Ruby
quickly.
Would probably pick it up.
Yeah. So what's the strategy for this? A perfect basic strategy has never been developed, but of course, the Wizard of Odds has a page devoted to it, and they have a pretty good basic strategy. Basically, you want to make that raise bet if you've got at least a 3-card flush 10-8-6 or better.
10-8-6.
10-8-6.
That's funny.
So if you have a 10-8-5, then you just fold.
Yeah.
If you have a 10-8-7, then you raise.
10-9-2, you raise.
Because that's better than 10-8-6. Yeah, right.
Wow, interesting.
And so that's kind of the good basic strategy. There are also a couple of side bets, and I think this is what that's what a lot of people are going to play if they're not familiar with, the odds. There are 2 side bets that you can make before the hand is dealt. One side bet is called flush, and one side bet is called straight flush. Even though straight flushes don't count in the regular part of the game, you can make a wager before you're dealt that you will get a flush or a straight flush. Now, the flush bet, you have to have at least a 4-card flush or higher to get paid on it. Mm-hmm. And if you have a 4-card flush, it's even money. 5-card flush is 10-1. 6-card flush is 100-1. 7-card flush 300-1.
Boy, they're making a killing on that.
Oh, I agree. Can you imagine? Yeah, how often you get like a 7-card flush?
Right.
If you make a straight flush bet, you get paid if you have at least a 3-card straight flush or better.
Okay.
3 cards, right?
But you get, 7-1?
7-1 for a 3-card straight flush, 60-1 for 4 cards, 100-1 for 5 cards, 1,000-1 for 6 cards, and 8,000-1 for a 7-card straight flush.
Yeah, that comes up a lot.
Yes.
Yeah, try getting that at the Pai Gow table. How would you like to have a $5 bet, get the 7-card straight flush on that, get $40,000, and you'd be on the Pai Gow table, you get the monster jackpot.
Anyway, that is high card flush, simple game. Your brother saw it at Harrah's Laughlin.
Harrah's Laughlin had it, yeah.
Right. So, it is kind of spreading around. It actually is a relatively new game.
Right.
And it is starting to spread. So keep your eye out for that, especially if you go to a casino with somebody who maybe isn't familiar with poker or table games. Maybe he's a little intimidated by some of those, carnival games and wants to learn something easy.
Yeah, this is an easy one, especially if you don't make the side bets. If you just put the ante out, and then all you gotta do is look at your cards and see if you've got 3.
Yeah.
If you've got 10-8-6,
make the bet. And whenever you can raise more than, your ante bet 2 times,
definitely
you always do it. Yeah,
yeah.
whenever you can. Yeah. Yep. All right, let's move on to our poker home game segment. This is the segment of the show where we talk about poker games that you will not find in a poker room in a casino, but you might play when you get together with your buddies for a poker night. And tonight we're going to talk about 6-card Texas Hold'em. This is actually a game that I heard about on the Ante Bet podcast. And we actually played it the other night in our home game. During December, in the month of December, well, you're already smiling like every year in December, to the chagrin of some players and to the excitement of others, at our home game, I always call kind of goofy games that we've never played before.
He calls goofy game December.
Yeah. And I think more people like it than not, so I'm going to continue to do that.
Yeah, okay? I agree with you. People like it. I'm just laughing because it's stupid. But
well, that's half of our enjoyment in life is stupid things, as I'm sure our listeners know at this
crazy
point.
Talk is our mantra.
So 6-card Texas Hold'em. Here's how it works. It plays like Texas Hold'em. You have blinds and, the button moves around the table. Every player is given 6 cards to start the hand. Mm-hmm. Okay. And after the betting round before the flop, after the initial betting round, each player still in has to divide those 6 cards into 3 2-card hands.
Okay.
3 2-card hands that they put in front of them, and they cannot change. They cannot move their cards around once they've been set. Right?
Oh, okay.
So you look at your 6 cards, you think, okay, what are the 3 best pre-flop Hold'em hands I can make from these? Sure. And you set them all up. So then you have a flop, just like regular Texas Hold'em. You have a betting round, and then every player still in has to discard one of his hands. Has to get rid of one of his 2-card poker hands.
After you've seen the flop.
After you've seen the flop and after the betting round on the flop.
Okay.
Okay? You discard one of the hands.
Uh-huh.
Then there's a turn, another betting round, and then all players have to get rid of another one of their 2-card hands.
Okay.
And now they're just left with 2 cards.
Texas Hold'em.
And then it just plays like Texas Hold'em.
Huh.
And without it, we played 3 goofy games last night for December. This one was very popular with the group. Yeah. In fact, Jason actually called it when it came around to him again. And it's a fun game. Right. Because first you've got to think, okay, how am I going to divide these cards? Like if you've got a pair of aces, but they're both suited, well, maybe you split them up so that you try for a flush instead of just having the pair of aces. Because the hands that won were bigger than normal Texas Hold'em hands, right?
Of course, right.
How do you divide them? And sometimes, you see the flop and it's like, oh, well, I wish I could divide them again, after the flop. It's like, I wish I could rearrange them, right? Because now, I missed it. But it's fun. I'll tell you, I'll give you an example of a hand that I played. I had King, Queen, Jack 10, and then like 8, 5, right? So that's exactly how I made my hands. I made a King, Queen, a Jack 10, and then the 8, 5 was like my throwaway, right? And I don't know if I was in a blind. Maybe that's a hand you throw away. I don't know if I had suits. It seems like you'd want aces, kind of like an Omaha.
Yeah,
but
probably.
Anyway, that's how I did it, right? Well, the flop came King, Queen, Rag. And so it's like, wow, this is great. I've got top 2 pair. Plus I've got a straight draw with my Jack 10.
Right. So you get rid of the 8, 5.
So I got rid of the 8, 5, right? So then the turn card was a 10. All right. So I've still got top 2 pair. I've still got the straight draw, although, other people might have it now too, because it's just with a jack. But I bet, and Bill raised me, and I'm thinking, okay, he's got a straight. If he's raising me, he's got a straight. So it was easy for me at that point to get rid of my Jack 10 hand because I'm thinking I'm going to have to fill up.
You're going to have to hit a full boat.
To do it, yeah. And then I did fill up, and Bill was pissed. So.
Why does it always end with Bill being pissed when you outdo him?
So I remember. But anyway, I mean, that's just an example of one hand that I played. But yeah, it went over very well because, what do you do? How do you arrange those hands? Yeah. And then there's that aggravation when it's like, oh, shoot, I either tossed away the wrong hand or I arranged them incorrectly to begin with.
Games like that get on. They're fun. I'll admit they're fun. They just get on me a little bit because inevitably I afterwards analyze it and think how I should have gone.
Yeah.
But, even if you make the right move to begin with,
exactly, sure,
it can backfire on you. And afterwards, doing something different, even though it doesn't make sense, would have been the right move.
Sure. It's just like getting pocket aces in regular Texas Hold'em and losing, right? You have the best hand, but it's not a guarantee that you're going to win, right?
Right. To the guy who hit runner 7-7 and stayed with 7-3, right?
That's right. The drunk guy who almost wins the tournament. Yeah, right. That's a true story. So, as far as strategy goes, I haven't played it enough, but I'm thinking honestly, if you've got like pocket aces and they're suited, I would split those up.
Yeah.
Right.
Because especially if it was like ace queen and ace 10.
Oh, of course. Yeah, sure.
I mean, if you had suited ace queen and suited ace 10, why keep the aces together?
Right. So you got to think about things like that. Okay. Do you kind of forego one of the hands to make the other two, powerful? Kind of like in my example, I had king, queen, jack 10 and then just, nothing, right? That happens a lot. You
got to get rid of one anyway. So you might as well make a crappy one to make the other two higher.
When do you stay in? In our game, almost everybody was staying in. But I'm thinking the game kind of plays like Omaha in that really, some big hands can win. The only difference is you're getting rid of cards. So if you're on a draw, you may not hit it. But I'm thinking, man, you really need an ace in there. You need some aces in there for flush draws. You need connected cards, things like that.
Higher than normal hands win, then, pair and two pair probably isn't going to win. So you're going to need trips, straights, flushes.
Yeah.
So you're thinking, you want the highest possible flush, aces, or kings in a flush draw.
Yeah. That's what we found. Very rarely at Showdown did somebody win with just a pair.
Right. They were two pair.
Mostly it was, they made a straight or a flush or something like that, or a full house even.
I noticed you were the big winner too.
Yeah.
For the night. So
you
must have been playing well.
I had some good luck because really backing into that, that full house, it probably wasn't even getting the right pot odds for it, right? Because I knew he had a straight. But no, that happened to me earlier too. We were playing, Apollo. And Bill was in. I made a full house on the very last card, and Bill had already had a straight, and he had like a six.
And we've said this a million times on this podcast. Doesn't matter how good you are at reading people, luck has a huge part of it.
Certainly in the short run.
In the short run, at a 3-hour poker night. Luck has a lot to do with it.
Yeah, that's it, because that's all we play, 3 hours every Tuesday. We're real good about stopping on time. So, no, you're right. That is 6-card Texas Hold'em. If anybody else has a home game they'd like us to talk about on the show, drop us a line at youcanbetonThat@gmail.com. Also, on the left-hand side of our homepage, under categories, there's a link called Poker Home Games. Click on that, and it will take you to a page that lists all the home games we've talked about and the episodes on which we talked about them.
Yeah, and as an aside, if you have an idea about how to make one of our games more interesting, like something that we haven't thought about, some little twist, email that too. I'd like to know that.
That would be good. We did get a mail from one of our listeners once where he talked about putting a joker in the deck, where when you get the joker, it gives you the power to like kill somebody else's hand.
Right, I remember that, yeah.
That's brutal. I don't know if I'd like that in our home game.
Yeah, that can't make a lot of friends.
Oh my gosh.
But it would be fun.
Oh yeah. I mean, I'm sure we'd get a kick out of it for a little time. It'd be great. Yeah. But yeah, stuff like that. If you've got little twists or turns that you have in your home game, let us know about it, yeah. All right, that's going to do it for this episode. Be sure to download our app for your mobile device. You'll get access to all our episodes, quick links to contact us via Twitter, Facebook, and email. And as an extra bonus, you get TV listings showing all the gambling-related shows coming up within the next 2 weeks. I update those listings every Wednesday using a program I wrote myself to search through all the raw American TV data. And those listings are only available on our app. To download it, go to our webpage, youcanbetonThat.com, and on the left-hand side of the page, click on the link that says how to download our app. We have a link for Android devices and another one for iPhones and iPads. And we'd love to hear from you in any way that you'd like to communicate with us about the show or gambling or anything else. Email us with questions and comments at youcanbetonThat@gmail.com, or you can leave us a short voice message by going to our webpage and clicking on Send Us a Voice Message. That'll open up a dialogue where you can leave a message up to 90 seconds long using the microphone on your computer or mobile device. Also, follow us on Twitter at youcanbetonThat.com, or excuse me, at youcanbetonThat. I'm going to be tweeting about your whereabouts this weekend. I'm going to tweet about how I'm doing at the tournament. Hopefully I'll go far along there. We always tweet whenever we're in a casino or on our way to a casino. We'd love to meet up with you. Like us on Facebook at facebook.com/youcanbetonThat. And finally, head on over to iTunes and write a review on us. When you do, it helps us get new listeners. Dr. Mike, what else you got?
All I got to say is that we've got 4 big gambling days coming up: Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday.
Right.
And then, the weekend's coming and there's a lot of Christmas stuff going on, things like that, holiday things. But we will be doing a lot of gambling over that time too.
Definitely, yes.
This is a busy month for us.
Very busy. Oh, and one more thing I forgot about the Trippies. Please head on over and vote for us. The voting is open right now through December 11th. After December 11th, the voting stops, and then in January, they're going to announce the winners. So again, that's vegastripping.com/Trippies2014. We'd really appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right. We'll talk to you next time.
See you later.